Stop looking at that dark corner of your yard like it is wasted space. Most people think shade is the enemy. They think if a plant is not in 8 hours of blazing sun, it is going to wither and die. That is a lie. Today, 10 crops that thrive in shade, exactly what to expect from each one, and why those shady corners you have been ignoring can produce real harvests. A shady garden space that gives you more food with less work. For many vegetables, direct sun is not a gift, it is a death sentence that makes them bitter, makes them bolt, and drains them dry. Shade keeps them cool and sweet, and it keeps your water bill and your workload low. 2 tiers. First, the 4 to 6 hour crew. Then, the bigger surprise, 5 crops that deliver real harvests on just 2 to 4 hours of light. 4 to 6 hours of sun. Carrots. The big surprise on this list. Most people say never plant root crops in shade. They are wrong. You will not get show-winning giants, but you will get a reliable fingerling-size harvest grown with near zero direct sun intensity, sweeter and more tender than anything pulled from a full sun bed. Sun-grown carrots crack without constant watering. Shade-grown carrots hold their own moisture. Barely touch the hose and you still walk away with real food from a corner you were doing nothing with. Yield. Big, but water-hungry in sun. Smaller, sweeter, and near zero watering required in shade. Tomatillos. Tomatillos are vines, and vines are hunters. Plant them in shade, and they crawl toward whatever sun is available, actively optimizing their own position without any help from you. Tougher than tomatoes, tougher than peppers, and in partial shade, they outperform both. The fruit they produce in lower light comes out cleaner, less sun-scald, holds longer on the vine, and with a brighter flavor than anything overexposed to afternoon heat. Yield, massive but sun-scald prone in sun. Cleaner fruit that lasts longer on the vine in shade with almost no management. Pole beans. Indeterminate growth means pole beans climb until they die up a trellis, toward any light they can find above the shade line. They do not wait for the sun to reach them. They go get it, growing vertically out of conditions that would stop a bush bean entirely. Set up one trellis in a shaded corner, and you are done. They climb, find the light, and produce for weeks on their own. No staking, no redirecting, no daily check-ins one afternoon of setup and weeks of harvest that stays crunchier than anything baked by afternoon heat. Yield, a wall of beans in sun. Leaner in shade, but crunchy, longer because afternoon heat is not drying them out on the vine. Kale, a tank. Handles frost, handles shade, holds moisture because its thick leaves were built to. Full sun kale gets hammered by pests. Constantly caterpillars, aphids, and cabbage moths all prefer warm, exposed leaves, forcing a checking and spraying routine multiple times a week. Shade-grown kale has far less pest pressure. The leaves come out cleaner and bigger, and the entire pest management routine disappears almost completely from your schedule. Yield. Constantly under pest attack in sun. Clean, large leaves in shade with near zero intervention needed. Swiss chard. Bright red, yellow, and white stems growing out of a corner most people wrote off entirely. Stunning and surprisingly tolerant of low light. Shade-grown chard gives you a slow, steady, predictable harvest instead of a wild explosion of leaves you cannot keep up with in a sunbed. You cut what you need, come back in a few days, and cut again. No racing the clock. No wasted leaves going to seed before you get there, just a reliable supply on your own schedule. Yield, wild and fast in sun. Slower in shade, but more vibrant, predictable, and entirely on your schedule. These next 5 need even less light and still deliver real food. 2 to 4 hours of sun. Spinach, cold tolerant and built for shade. In full sun, heat hits spinach, and it panics rushing to flower and turn bitter before the season even peaks. In shade, the soil stays cool, the plant relaxes, and your harvest window stretches by weeks instead of days. Plant once, it keeps producing. No replanting runs, no second guessing the timing. The shade does the temperature regulation, the plant does the producing, and you just show up with a bowl when you want greens. Yield: one short, bitter harvest in sun. A steady supply of big, sweet leaves all season in shade. Leaf lettuce: most people kill lettuce by putting it in the sunniest spot they have. It dries out fast, the shallow roots overheat, and the leaves turn tasteless and tough. Lettuce needs consistent moisture to stay tender, and shade delivers exactly that. Cool, stable soil that slows bolting and holds the flavor in. One planting, multiple cuttings over weeks. Shade holds enough moisture that you are not tied to a daily watering routine. You visit when you want to eat, not because the plant is demanding attention. Yield: fights the heat and loses in sun. A lush head that keeps producing in shade for weeks. Endive: the toughest green on this list. In real tests, endive outperformed nearly every other green in both shade and full sun, conditions aggressive, bitter, crunchy, and completely unbothered by low light. It asks for nothing. No coddling, no heat management, no adjusting position based on the season. Put it in the ground in a shaded spot, and it handles itself. While other gardeners are nursing their greens through summer heat, endive quietly out, produces them without a single intervention. Yield: fast in sun, but gets woody. Tender leaves in shade, you trade a little speed for a lot of quality. Arugula: spicy, and most people assume spice needs heat. It does not. Too much sun and arugula becomes so sharp you cannot eat it. The heat compounds in the leaf push past the point of flavor into something aggressive and unpleasant. Shade acts like a dimmer switch, keeping the temperature and the flavor exactly where you want them. Full sun arugula bolts in 3 weeks and forces you back to replanting constantly. Shade stretches that harvest window to 6 or 7 weeks, half the replanting trips. Same plate of food. Yield: bolts and needs. Replanting every 3 weeks in sun. Stretches to 6 or 7 weeks in shade. Radishes: the fastest plant in the garden. Seed to snack in 25 days. They do not have the energy reserves to fight the sun, while also building a root in full sun. That competition shows immediately. The root turns woody and sharp in a way that bites the back of your throat. In shade, all that energy goes into root development and nothing else. Drop the seed in the shaded corner, come back in 3 weeks, eat them. No schedule, no adjusting, no checking. If one plant on this list defines the shady corner payoff, this is it. Yield: crisp and mild in shade. Woody and throat-burning sharp in full sun. 10 crops. All of them built for the corners you have been walking past for years. The shade in your yard is not dead space, it never was. Those corners have been ready the whole time. Find where the sun lands at 10 a.m. and leaves by 2 p.m. That is your gold mine. Pick the crop you like to eat most. Drop the seed in the darkest corner you have, and walk away. The shade has been waiting for you.